It is puppy spa day. We're gonna be taking our litter of 6 golden retrievers for their first puppy baths. See how it goes. One of the important things in our program is making sure that we're getting puppies accustomed to as many things as their future may hold for them as possible. So if you have a dog, especially a shedding dog, there's going to be a lot of fur everywhere, and one of the helpful ways of dealing with that is going to be making sure that they get regular baths, de-shedding treatments, going to a groomer, and by starting young, getting them accustomed to things like water, the sounds of the blow dryer, getting their nails clipped, those kinds of things. We help set them up a little bit more for their futures and make it easier on the people that are going to be in charge of grooming them down the line. We have a little shampoo mix that we use here. It's a secret recipe we have, but it does include iodine, a little bit of iodine to help keep puppy itchies from everybody from scratching after they have their first baths, because sometimes when their skin is this sensitive, their first couple of baths, they can get really itchy after it. The iodine helps to keep them from getting super itchy. So that's the colored stuff that you're seeing go in the water and go on the shampoo. Instead of like full stream, full power, and make sure that the water is warm. You really want this to be a positive experience for you and your puppy, rather than it being complicated. Obviously it's going to be new, so they're going to be unsure and not quite comfortable with the process right away, and that's okay. But you can help them gain comfortability and confidence by being slow, making sure that you're not adding other factors like being in cold water. They likely will still shiver a little bit because their bodies haven't been this wet since they were first born. You don't want to leave them out for extended periods of time wet, because it takes a puppy a lot of energy to warm themselves back up. But by having the warm water in the bathtub, it helps to keep their temperature up a little bit more instead of them just getting wet and having to immediately be out in the air. So next step, some people are not concerned about blow drying their dogs. I personally will always try to make sure that I get my dogs fully dry, just because I feel like it eliminates a lot of that wet dog smell and actually makes your bath smell like your bath worked. But also when there's a lot of moisture in the coat and in the ears and other things like that, that can sometimes lead to problems on the road, especially if your puppy is going to lay down on like a bed or something like that, and then they're just sleeping on a damp, wet surface as they are damp and wet. Now, when we introduce our puppies to the blow dryer, we're always starting on the back end of the body, and we actually are going to take this tip off so that it's not as much of a direct force. We're not using a high heat, we're using a very low heat. And a very low speed, just because again this is overwhelming. Puppies are not sure how they're going to handle this, and we want to try to make them feel as comfortable and as safe as possible. We're going to let her move around and get herself comfortable, but we're not going to let her run away from it either. Directly into her face. Now remember, we've worked on covering our puppy's eyes and face already in our 10-step handling program, so this isn't something new for them. If you have a new puppy and your puppy isn't used to having their face covered, that would be the first step to work on before you really try to do this step with a blow dryer, because that's, again, going to be another thing that adds discomfort. I'm going to do a little nail trim. Oh, now everybody's brave. Nails. You are not helping. Good girl. You did so good. You did so good. Now again, our puppies have had the 10-step handling program. They're used to having their paws handled at this point. If your puppy is not used to having their paws handled, I highly recommend going to check out our 10-step handling process video, because that is something, it's never too late to start that. You can even do that with adult dogs, working through with treats, helping them to gain confidence around having different parts of their bodies handled. Rue is very used to that and accustomed to that, so nail trims are not a problem for her at this point. But if your puppy is uncomfortable with having their paws handled or pressure on their toes, I would start there. And of course, everybody needs new collars because these guys go through a lot. Here we go. Miss Kinga, you have me on pink. Here you go. Good girl. You need it.